Joined now ahead of the Zelensky visit tomorrow by retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, who's a NewsNation contributor and a former Air Force Command pilot. Always good to see, General. So do you think, having watched all of this as we get ready for tomorrow, that we're getting closer to something, as the president suggests, either going to have a deal now or maybe not at all?
I think we're getting closer, Connell. As you said, it's a pivotal moment in the Oval Office today with the British Prime Minister, but it's been a pivotal week with Macron earlier this week and with Prime Minister Starmer today, and then certainly with President Zelensky tomorrow. That adds up, I think, to a momentous opportunity tomorrow to sign this mineral agreement, which then draws us closer to ceasefire agreements, perhaps in a peace deal down the road just a little bit. I'm not talking months, but probably weeks that will be undertaken. But what's important about these Oval Office meetings, and certainly with President Zelensky tomorrow in the mineral agreement, is it shows Putin, the United States, strong resolve with European leaders and key leaders, and Macron and Starmer, and now with Zelensky. It's showing that daylight that we've seen the last couple of weeks is starting to close in. And shows more of a unified front. I think that's key at the moment.
Well, the thing with Starmer, and we played the clip from Parliament when he spoke about it before coming here, and then I just mentioned the numbers a minute ago that he says they're picking up their spending, 2.5% of GDP, clearly looking to send a message that because they're going to do their part, that this idea of transferring responsibility from Ukraine somehow out of the U.S. to the Europeans, particularly the U.K., that they're in on that, and even if it's their troops involved. And he talked about that, boots on the ground, earlier. Here's the Prime Minister.
We've discussed a plan today to reach a peace that is tough and fair, that Ukraine will help shape, that's backed by strength, to stop Putin coming back for more. I'm working closely with other European leaders on this, and I'm clear that the UK is ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal, working together with our allies, because that is the only way that peace will last.
Well, he's saying a couple things there, right, General? He's saying we're all in and we're willing to do our part, but it seems to me he's also trying to send a message that there needs to be security. Otherwise, we're talking about this again, maybe even worse down the line. Your thoughts?
That's a strong commitment from the Prime Minister, and I was glad to hear that. He's messaging not only Putin, whom he does not trust, nor would I don't trust him either in that regard, but he's also messaging the other European heads of state as well. The fact that Great Britain is now going to add to their commitment, as you mentioned, closer to 2.5% of their gross domestic product towards military spending and so forth. That's messaging also. I think President Trump, however, really put it in a great context this afternoon. One, the toughest part of this, Connell, is really coming up with a ceasefire and a long-term agreement between Russia and Ukraine. The less difficult part is going to be the peacekeeping aspect of this. But Prime Minister Starmer...
Oh, really? Because I heard, maybe I could be off base on this, I heard a message for President Trump in that, too, which is to say, if we want the peace to last, we can't make a sweetheart deal with Putin. It has to be a strong deal. Otherwise, we have to have security. We have to have, whether it's boots on the ground from the UK or Europe, whoever it is, but the U.S. has to be involved somehow, too, he seemed to be saying. In other words, one thing to make the deal, but if we want it to last, I thought he was talking to Trump as well as maybe, as you say, some of his European colleagues, no?
He was. There's a little bit difference of opinion here because Trump has said that, the centerpiece of this is the agreement itself. And I think the peacekeeping aspect is one thing, but also the security guarantees, that's important. I'd remind our viewers, however, and remind our European allies, the United States has 100,000 troops in Europe, Connell, as well as 10,000 now in Poland. And what that peacekeeping or that security guarantees will look like moving forward will be U.S. air power over Europe, and as well as overwatch of the Black Sea. Those are two critical elements of the peacekeeping. You will not, however, see U.S. boots on the ground. Prime Minister Starmer committed to U.K. boots on the ground, potentially, but you're not going to see the United States. But we will provide the main backstop, as he said earlier, of U.S. capabilities there that have been there for decades. So I don't think we're not going to ease up on that.
Okay, General, always good to talk to you. Thanks for your insights tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.